agree with me that this was a very, very important topic for you to decide to discuss. In 1 week or 2 weeks, we've seen so many accidents. Sometimes in one spot, of us who stayed in Tele, we had that terrible accident where a mixer tipped and crushed a very young lawyer. It was very sad. You know, you were seated in the vehicle, everything is calm, and the next minute something like that happens. And another accident the following day on the same spot, and another one. Yes, so 3 in 2 weeks. I'm talking about 2 weeks. Then we have also had numerous accidents. So, first and foremost, let's understand road safety. What's road safety? This refers to the methods and measures for reducing the risk of people using the road, the risk of death, the risk of serious injury. Even if it is not serious, any injury that you suffer on the road, the roads should be used for safe conveyance of people and goods, and without all these. So, every country in the whole world, there are some accidents, but I can tell you there's a difference. There are countries with numerous accidents, there are countries with the least number of accidents. So, road safety is what brings about that difference between so many accidents and very few accidents. It's about road safety, and we are very soon going to dive into that. Now, road safety provides the rules, the regulations, and how to mitigate factors that cause those accidents. That's road safety. Road safety is a very, very important subject that we must all now begin to pay attention to. Of course, road users, we mean pedestrians, cyclists, motorists, passengers, everybody that is using the road. Next slide. Now, let me start with statistics. And I will start with some few statistics globally, and then I come to Uganda. More than 1.2 million people are killed in road accidents worldwide every year. 1.2 million people every year in different countries. Isn't this worrying? It's worrying, isn't it? Number 2, about 4% of gross national product, okay, of countries put together, 4% is lost in road accidents yearly, which means the crashes that we have of motor vehicles, the money that we use to the valuable, forex that we use to import these vehicles into our country, the kind of goods that are lost with these accidents definitely cause a lot of loss of gross domestic product. Now, can you imagine in these accidents, a child is killed every 3 minutes in the world? Yes, a child. One of the people that are killed, these statistics that I've told you, a child is dying. Now, in Uganda, they were 24, last year, 2023, according to the annual crime report and annual traffic report of the police. 24,728 road casualties. These include people who have died in accidents, these include people who have been seriously injured, and people who have been injured. 24,728. Now, the death toll has increased by 30% from 2022 and 2023. It has increased by 30% in 1 year. Now, we don't know next year what it is going to be. This is something that should cause worry. And the serious crashes have come from 8,861 to 12,487. These are serious. People losing limbs, people, you know, that kind of thing. These are serious issues. Next slide. So, what causes all this? And sometimes we think we know everything that is caused by accidents. And I normally watch whenever there is an accident, there are people who come on TV and they begin to talk as if they knew, oh, he was speeding, oh, he was this. They begin to apportion because that is exactly what people are saying all the time. But there are some other things that contribute to these accidents. But number one is overspeeding. This is the greatest killer, the greatest cause of accidents in Uganda. Overspeeding. Ugandans, where are we going? It's like we are hurrying to go where? I don't understand. And I can tell you, speaking by example, this is what I used to do in my 30s. Eh? In my 30s, I think I bought a vehicle when I was what? You know, I think it was when I was 28 or something like that. And then when I'm going home, I'm driving to Barara, I don't want any vehicle to overtake me. Pieces of my muscle, you know, like how can you know, a new number plate, how can you come and overtake me? And I think people still have that. I don't understand. Go to town here and see how young people are driving. You have mentioned that car. At least you have mentioned it. I have not mentioned it. You know, it's. I don't know. Maybe, you know, for people to know that you have this fast car, and these are road runners. These are not rally cars, but we overspeed. Now, sometimes we think that these speed ranges that we have in this country, people who put them there don't know why the lawmakers put the speed limit. I stay in Entebbe and I drive to Kampala on the express highway. Express highway does not have its own speed limit. It's a national speed limit, which is 100 kilometers per hour. We drive at 150, 200. Yes. And there are serious road crashes there. So, overspeeding is one of the biggest problems. And sometimes this overspeeding also depends on the spirit. On Christmas, people are rushing to all these destinations. The buses must make a lot of money. The taxis must make a queue. So people overspeed. Sometimes, yes, someone tells you, I've been a police officer, but so I've been having these experiences. I'm sorry if you had asked me some photos, I would have put photos where personally, even when I was AIGP, I would go on any road, stop any vehicle, any bus, and I go in and start sensitizing people on the road. But so, you know, the problem of overspeeding, we need to talk and be serious about it. Yeah. One time I had my family. I normally tell my experiences for people to understand this. So we're driving from Christmas, and I had everybody in. My wife, my children, somebody who helps us at work, in the home, they were all there. And I drove, because it was becoming late. Now, if you know Rukaya, there is that, they call it Wera. And I was driving a Pajero, Toyota Prado, and I don't know what happened to me, and I saw a huge caterpillar. On the road, I saw a caterpillar. You people, I saw a caterpillar. It is as if it was abandoned there. And I never told anybody, so I closed my eyes like this, waiting to hit it.
To get crushed.
Yeah.
but I passed through the caterpillar. How? Because the caterpillar was not there. It was in my mind. Yes, I'm telling you. It was in my mind. I was overspeeding. I was driving quickly. So in my mind, I saw a caterpillar, and I am told that people see these illusions. So the most important thing that was needed out of me is to step on the brakes.
But you didn't.
No, I just did like this. God, receive us. And I went through. But if I had stepped there and the vehicle overturns, that story nobody would have known. But I want to tell you that people who overspeed, they see a lot of things that are not there. Illusions, what, all these kind of things. So overspeeding is a huge, huge, huge problem. Number two, drunk driving. In Uganda, we like our booze. Yes, Uganda is one of the few countries in Africa. I think we don't go beyond 5. People who drink beer, number 1, number 2, number 3. Maybe we are like number 5, number 2. You know these statistics, you can Google them. We are very good drinkers, actually. Go and meet the boys, you know, have one in one. And when you take in one, you put in another one, you begin to be excited. I saw the story of Amin when he was telling the medical students at Mulago Hospital. Tell me, when you take in 3 or 4, what happens to you? You cannot reason like, okay? You cannot be firm on the road. So drunk driving has claimed so people we need to do something about that. Poor road condition. If you go in a place you're driving there for the first time, you need to be so slow and sure. Because you will end up into a pothole or something like that. It can be that dangerous. The conditions of the roads in Uganda, coupled with lack of road furniture. Road furniture meaning that you're driving, but there is no signpost telling you there and then that cows are passing. Okay? School children are passing. But Ugandans also know how to cross roads. Somebody comes from this side, this is the main road, comes from this side and wants to go through. Okay? But the conditions of these roads, because of lack of furniture, road furniture, you may not know what to expect. So it becomes a problem. I put it there, road furniture. Overloading. Overloading. A vehicle in Uganda, especially public service vehicles, you load it until all the goods that were there are finished. There's nobody who says, no. Yes, we have put enough. And these vehicles have tonnage. Okay, every vehicle has tonnage. Okay, so you should be knowing how much to put there. Those of you who have read my book, I keep on talking about it. You read there. My first taxi, second one, a driver took it to Hoima, known as from Chitoro in Entebbe. Took it to Hoima, a new vehicle. I gave it to him like today, and he took me to the airport. I was going for a course in London. I had become comfortable at the college in Stafford 2 days. They called me, the vehicle crashed. When they reached Hoima, the mourners who were there, first of all, there were many. There were 18 in the vehicle, and each one bought things. Maize, beans, potatoes, whatever, you know, when we travel outside, you want to buy some food. But this vehicle could not be able to contain the load. Distracted driving. Now, this is where I have a problem with most Ugandans. Leave alone, first of all, border. I have seen people talking on phone while driving. It's so bad. First of all, if you see a vehicle in front of you and it is slow, you're on a highway. But this vehicle, like on express highway, you're not supposed to drive inside. You're supposed to drive outside and allow another vehicle to pass and overtake. But this person is there. It's like he's driving in his compound. You come and take from the left, you find somebody on phone. We are unapologetic about driving while we are talking on phone. You can put your earphones and you drive. But even then, you are going to be impeded depending. And this business of picking phones all the time, you can pick a phone, you are running very quickly and they give you bad news. If you are seated here and they tell you so and so has died, and the way some people collapse even. Now you driving and somebody gives you that bad news. What is going to happen? So distracted driving includes use of phones, all sorts of things that they are doing. People are eating. Somebody's driving a kamunye full of people and is eating kasori. So you have divided attention on that. Otherwise, drivers are supposed to be paying a lot of attention, but we are distracted so much. Non-compliance with traffic rules and regulations. They say that please, when you reach here, slow down. You don't want to slow down. Okay? The traffic officers say, please do this, pass there. Ugandans are very, I don't know what Baganda call it, Mputu. We are all in a line like this. Somebody comes and adds another line. Another one adds another line. By the time you realize you are all stuck, and they now sit in the vehicles and begin to look at each other. You are all stuck. Why? Because you cannot be patient, something like that, and you move. Travel to a country near us here, Rwanda. Everybody must follow Fata Nyayo. You follow a line. You cannot overtake that line. Yes, but here we are all. Even they find you on the pedestrian walkway. Yes. I was in Omalago. Do you know of coming from the roundabout going to, you know where there is the mortuary? That roundabout, from Kubiri, there's a church of Kakandi. There's the first roundabout. Now from that roundabout, the second roundabout going to Wandegeya, there is a very nice paved walk. Someone came and started driving there. He was driving a UC. Wow. And I came out. And he was putting on uniform, a soldier. And I said, who do you think you are? Yeah, because you were putting on that. Who do you think you are? These people are walking, you are putting the vehicle there. The people who built this road know that road is for pedestrians. Even border borders are not supposed to be there. So this is something that we must put on your seat belt. Ugandans don't want to put on seat belt. Okay? Everything they say, they put it the other way around. I don't know what is wrong with us, all of us. So we don't comply. Lack of proper enforcement. I have a problem with this here, and as Ugandans we can discuss this, we can continue discussing it. Because in road safety, you're supposed to be tough. Let me tell you, road safety is supposed to be tough. But if we are going to have some of our people, my people, receiving some money, close one eye here, and somebody is passing, that is lack of proper enforcement of regulations. Okay? There's one who stopped me, the waiter. He stopped me, and I was running down, and he stopped me because the vehicle was moving very fast. I stopped and came back. I said, what is it you're trying to do? Because even the manner of stopping a vehicle can cause an accident, isn't it? Red light jumping, this happens very quickly. We think the red lights are not supposed to tell us. No. If you come and there is no light I mean, if you come in the evening and there is light, even if it is at night, even if it is at 3 a.m., there is no vehicle. If you meet a red light, stop. Yes, let's have discipline. Stop. Lack of use of road safety gears. These include the seat belt. For those who own motorcycles, the what? The helmet. Now, President, let me tell you something. If you go to Mulago, 80% of people who have head injuries, their legs are up, they are border accidents. And why? Because they don't have helmets. Why? Our hair, you can't put a helmet in. So the hair is very important. No, let me start from the hair. I'm telling you, from I have been there enforcing. I've been there enforcing. Even when we were so serious, it caused a huge problem. They started saying they are going to cause diseases or that kind of thing. Put something inside. Because this is for your own protection. Have something, when you are going, ladies, when you are going to bathe, don't you put, there's something I see my wife covering it. You can have it for the border. Or you can have your own helmet. Our children, let's give them helmets. Because our children are going to school on border. But you find 4 children from you, same family. You get your 3 children, put them on a border, nobody has a helmet. Now, supposing there is a serious crash, all your 3 children are going. Okay? Abuse of the road. Now, this is, I will just give one example and I move because of time. You're driving this, like this. There's a road going this way and everybody drives that way. In between, there is something you cannot pass it, isn't it? There's a demarcation. Now, the vehicles here are going that way. You drive, you are not worried about something in front. You only know vehicles are following you, isn't it? You reach somewhere there, you find a gentleman driving now towards you. And then you say, now, where has this one come from? Where is he going? And they are pushing you, and they are saying, get off, get off. What is that? Okay? The right of way does not mean someone using a wrong way. That does not become right of way. Right of way means we are all going this side, but we give you, yes. That's what it means. The other one is about weather conditions. It has caused a lot of accidents in Uganda, these weather conditions. And I want to tell you, on that road, most of the accidents you see on the express highway, there is water which does not move when it rains. Now, when you come very quickly, there is a way water affects your vehicle. Yes? Yeah. And if you're not careful, you crash these road barriers. What can we do to prevent this? Number one is that 90% of accidents can be prevented by strict enforcement, especially speed limits. Number one, we need to have heavy penalties. In some countries, that driving permit you have. By the way, in Uganda, a driving permit, even people photocopy it, and then they keep the photocopy. Why do they do that? They do that because we don't know how to use the driving permit. In a country like US and other countries, the driving permit has each and everything. It has your green card. They can tell you your name, your TIN number is on that driving permit. Even when the police flash on your readable number plate, it tells everything about you. Everything about you. So here, if you do something, they add it on they add points on your penalty points on your driving permit. The police can go there and say 200 points. Now, when you reach a certain level, you have to go and pay, and it is hefty payments. Every time you are paying, you are paying, you are paying. Now, when you reach a certain level of penalties, your driving permit can be suspended for, taken away from you. And when you don't have a driving permit in those countries, you cannot drive. It is like a passport. But here, a taxi driver will keep the driving permit at home. For 1 year, you will never show it. You see the problem? So we need really to do something about that. The CCTV, the cameras, they are closed circuit television cameras in UK, in all these countries. They are seeing how you drive. At least now on the northern bypass, and the police can tell. They are there. They are watching how you're driving, even in these other roads in town, and they can arrest you. They can arrest you. We need passenger vigilance, because this is a responsibility for all of us. President, the one time I drove, I used to drive passengers if I'm going for Christmas, get some money for, I'm going home for Christmas. And then one time the passengers were telling me, how can that global, but maybe it was not global, I don't know what it was the other time. There was a gentleman called Mahanji, he had Horizon, it was called Horizon. How can Horizon overtake us? Yes, that's why we came in a taxi, so that we can arrive there before them. Now the buses have overtaken. They say, something like that. So the passengers need to be vigilant against people who are driving us. Say I want to imagine a day when passengers are seated in a vehicle going to Jinja, they have not paid because they pay maybe on the way or something like that. These days, there are those who say, but supposing we reach Mabira and we say, or something like that, and all of them come out, then they say, Kari, if you are hurrying, drive your vehicle. For us, we cannot stand that, and we are not going anywhere. What will the driver do?
Hopefully they have sense.
We will come down. So, it is our responsibility, all of us. How do you drive me? Okay? How can I protect myself from HIV, from COVID, from whatever? For you want to go and kill me. I am not going to allow you. So we need passenger vigilance. And even calling the police or whatever. But sometimes people here, they say, even if you call the police, what would the police do? Yeah, that one is there. But maybe if you know their number, call. It is important. I used to receive a lot of people in buses calling me when I was the public relations officer of the police. Monitoring movement of public transport by the police, especially during holidays. Christmas, somebody goes, the police knows that this vehicle has come from here and you are not going to have a return journey. When you make a return journey, then you are arrested. Mobilization, education, sensitization. We need to do a lot of mobilization, education, and sensitization. We need to talk to people, TVs, everywhere. I had a colleague called Yiga, Fred Yiga. Okay? He also retired as an AIGP. You know what he did? Everybody was saying, Yiga yatugambye tokola bwoti. Yiga yagambye tokola bwoti. We need to do a lot of those sensitization. Analyze accident-prone areas and redesign. If an accident is happening in a place every time, like I was saying in Intel, why don't we redesign that? We have engineers. They can redesign and we reduce accidents. We can also have proper driving licensing procedures. There are people who go there and, everybody must go through a driving school. Okay? I put on Twitter recently, I delayed to renew my driving permit. So when I went there to renew, they said, no, you've taken 1 year. So you have to start afresh. I said, No, since I am.
But how were you driving?
Since I am. Yeah? No. Because when I was going to retire, I was still being driven. I was not driving. So during that period of time, I took 1 year because I didn't need to drive. I'm always sitting there and sleeping. But now you have come out and you are beginning to drive. Then you realize that your driving permit has done what? Has expired. So you go and they tell you, no. You have to take a new driving permit, like you were starting afresh. You can imagine I had 6 classes. Now I have to start with a small car. Yeah, it's called B. Yes, but the most important thing was when I went to this assistant commissioner. And then when I reached there, I said, Mukama wange, Sansa Kulava. Then I said, yes. They said, tula kwa. Okay. Wado mazomwa kakare. Katulabe chokora. Then immediately he says, by the way, ngenda kuwa yo test. Yeah, so he went on his computer and then he says you are going to receive it on your phone. And he did this, he sent it on my phone. Then he says, Afande, you have 30 minutes. Yeah, you just answer that. Pass mark is 70. Pass mark is 75%. 75%. Jesus. I looked at the signs. I had forgotten some of the signs. I was telling him, is this sign in Uganda? I said, of course this is in Uganda. It is in Uganda. I said, but where is this one? He said, no, at the Chira Road police station. You know this one which has like small zebras and the whole road. I'd never seen it because I was always being driven. Now I said, okay, now what is this? He said, but I found that you are doing an exam. We are doing an exam. I passed marginally. Why? Because I was not paying attention to that. How many people don't go to the driving schools? So we need to go through a vigorous driving school for you to get a driving permit. And the regular inspections, Uganda stopped inspections, which was regular. Yes. Even when you import a car, before you put a number plate, you must have an inspection report. Now you can go buy a car, put a number plate, drive from there. You even don't need to put number plates from there. People put them in their car and they drive up to home. Very strange. We have to have road safety education in schools. I think we need to go back to that. I don't know, Rotary, maybe we can start something like a small project, like the schools that are around us. We say Rotary Club of Kisugu. We are going to profile about 5 schools. We go there on elementary. We make a project, elementary road safety education. This will save our young people from dying, and I think that is a cause that we can do. And then I was talking about the points. I have finished that. In conclusion, we need to all be responsible for road safety, because it is all of us that are affected. To follow regulations, to have vigilance, passenger vigilance, to report all the bad driving, to conduct road safety community policing meetings. You call a police officer in your area and say, but we need to do something, remove all the road hazards. Let me tell you, when a bus gets a problem on Uganda roads, they bring Chijinji. They put Chijinji there. They repair. And when the vehicle starts, the Chijinji, maybe they push it aside for it to pass, it remains there. Very few people take responsibility of removing all these hazards, they put them away. They don't want to do that. Then they bring branches, tree branches. They put them there to warn other people. And they put it like half a kilometer or 100 meters away. Now when the bus or a vehicle begins to move, nobody goes back to remove this thing. Now you can imagine you are driving, all of a sudden you see something. And we push everything from our vehicle. People don't know They talk about environmental issues, but they forget about accidents. They push everything. Yeah, small jerry cans, whatever. They are all, yes. You can be driving and you see something, you are not sure of it, and you end up in a bush or something like that. Otherwise, we need to obey traffic regulations. And I want to thank you so much for listening to me. And I hope maybe it has added 1 or 2 things so that we can be able to avoid road crashes and accidents in Uganda. I thank you so much.
The retired AIGP, maybe he has forgotten. He hosted a party, and I had friends who are drinking beer, and he confiscated their keys.
Yeah, keys. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
It is a long story.
Yes,
but,
that is true.
For safety, yes. Let's have now questions. We can start from this side, and then we shall come back this side.
Mine is really a compliment. For you to know, you are one of the few officers that we never wanted to retire. I think we can bear witness because it has now showed up from here where we have personal touch. Last week I was traveling to Lira. We had a matter. I am a legal services person. We had a matter, and around 7, between Kamdini and Lira, there is some repairs being done. We thought we had arrived because we had driven majority of the journey, only for us to ram into a boda man, who we saw very well because our vehicle has a camera at the front. He just came and got into the road that we couldn't help him, you know? But that might not be the point. Most important was eventually when we reported ourselves, went to the fuel station to check on the vehicle, went to the police post to report the case because we know what happened. On trying to follow up, we found that the gentleman wasn't the owner of the bike, and therefore he had no license. And of course insurance. My point here is to those who are owning vehicles or motorbikes for that matter, we need to be careful as we give out those items. It might look very simple that somebody asks you for a car, he's your very good friend, he knows how to drive, we all know that, but he doesn't have the necessary documents. It became a tug of war. As we talk, we had to leave the car behind. We jumped into buses and got back to Kampala because we did not have a way to claim from insurance, from the individual. And you know, they were local guys, so they didn't have money. It was a challenge for them to raise the monies to take to the hospital. And you know, insurance normally can fix it. But when you don't have paperwork, it becomes a problem. So we need to be careful as we're giving out those cars, because you might get into trouble because they will need the owner to come and be questioned, why did you give out a vehicle to a person who didn't have a license? Yeah, but thank you so much. I appreciate, we really appreciate, and may the Lord bless you for the work that you do.
Mine is also like a supplement. In this entire steps that we are taking, whereby we want to dissolve off all these challenges that we get on the road, but I feel like we are leaving it out for the policemen and those guys who do the checking of the cars and all that, because we are seeing a lot of corruption there. Talk about the police officers, they're giving tips on the road when someone is found wrong while not doing the right thing. Tips have become tips everywhere. Even those documents that you're talking about, some of them are not right. Like they haven't followed the right procedures, or they haven't attained what they're supposed to attain in order for them to get those documents. But they have them. You find someone has a driving license and yet really sure they don't even know how to drive. So what are we really going to do about it? Thank you.
About Subaru drivers. These Subaru drivers that have as if rockets in their cars. Are authorities doing anything about this? The right players in this environment? I just don't understand, because there are so many people on these roads. Imagine you're walking and you have all these thoughts, and then a Subaru just passes with that rocket. It's that, yeah. I don't know if it's a siren or if it's a rocket.
It really fascinates me, your knowledge of this thing and the way you articulate, going out of our way just to educate us is amazing. Why I'm saying that I came a bit late, I don't know if you talked about the Boda Boda menace in the city. And right now you're looking from your back seat, you're seeing what is going on. What do you have to say about the situation right now as Uganda stands, especially the cities? Thank you.
Basically, you rounded it off very, very well. But there's something that we haven't talked about, and that is these red-plated cars. I think when everybody sees them doing what they're doing, they say, if they can't do it, I can also do it. So I think the enforcement needs to look at them as well. Personally, I can also bear testament. June last year, we had a very bad accident going on Rtn Road. Boda Boda guy just was at the roadside on the phone. When he put down, he just got into the road. Tried to avoid him, and our car rolled over twice. 3 times actually. We're lucky that we had seatbelts on. Now, another thing, the final thing is, again, something that you talked about in terms of following regulations and stuff. I think nobody these days knows, at the roundabout, you find people stopping at the in the middle of the roundabout. They have the right of way. And you're saying, come on, guy, you have the right of way, but they stop there because somebody's coming so fast, and, you know? So, and if you know Mukwano's roundabout, now people just, the borders take the shortcut. So the example you gave of Rwanda was very, very good, because there's strict enforcement there. We need to start with the enforcement, even including the red-plated cars. Sometimes they even go over the verge, and it's when they see that there's a lot of traffic here, they jump over this pavement and go, and you know. So we have quite a lot of problems that we need to address, but mainly through strict enforcement. Thank you.
Talk. It's so good to hear a retired public official doing something that is, you know, constructive and helpful to society. Please influence the others to do the same. I also came late, so you'll excuse me if I missed something. I was looking at your causes of accidents, and I think one of the things you missed is the condition of the vehicle. I honestly, you look at some people's tires, and I'm always disappointed with the traffic police who stop us. All they want to know is our driver's license and our insurance. But they will not check if your brake light is working. They will not look at the, your tire, whether your tires are good. They will not look at whether your lights are working. You know, that basic road safety things. And I always ask them, why aren't you asking me whether my tires, why aren't you looking at whether my tires are okay, or whether my brake lights are working? Or, yeah, because it helps. And that I should be penalized if I'm driving a car that is not in a good condition. So I really think we need to do something. People, we don't service our cars, we don't, as long as the car is moving, we go. Huh? Then it gets an accident, the car got an accident, right? And we're not maintaining, we're not looking after our cars. So I think that's a very important one. The second question I wanted to ask you is especially on public transport. Next door in Kenya, they put what were called speed governance in public transportation because of the rate of accidents and overspeeding and also poor education of the drivers of these cars whose inducement is get as much money as possible, not about to drive people safely and get them to where they are going. I'm wondering what is the critical thing that can be done to regulate public, especially public transportation, borders, and also those taxis, especially cross-country taxis, that can be done fairly quickly and have a good win-win situation for all involved, and how should it be enforced? Yeah, thank you.
Good presentation about this topic. As I've been meditating through what you've said, I think for me it boils down to two things. It boils down to two levels, policy makers and policy enforcement. You realize that all these challenges, really the underlying factor is poor policies as well as lack of enforcement. So you having been an insider in this whole thing, and again, we are advantaged in the fact that we are surrounded by countries which have had best practices, and these best practices are working. What are the bottlenecks? Why are we failing to learn from our neighbors, address these issues? We've known that Rwanda has borders as much as we do, but they are really under control and they are following regulations. What can we do moving forward to ensure that policies that we are putting in place are actually enforced and we are learning from our neighbors and other places? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me try to be quick. Maybe I will shout. Let me try to be quick. Council, that experience between Kona Kamdini, you actually gave very good. You actually gave a very good example of what we can do as our responsibility, a community responsibility, but a responsibility for all. But you also know that there is a law, that if I give somebody a vehicle, I must have particulars of that person. I must also have a copy of the driving permit. Okay? Some of us, some of you have nice vehicles. People come to borrow the vehicle for taking Mugore, you know, I'm going on a certain function, something like, you know, can I have your car? I said, no, you can take your car. But he has not left, he has not showed you a driving permit. Probably the driving permit is expired, okay? So it is an offense for somebody to drive your car when you don't have details about that person. I think it is something that we should emphasize in enforcement. By the way, I'm one person, even when I go back now and I settle in my sitting room, I'm going to call the director of traffic and tell him what we have discussed as Kisugu. That's what I normally do. That's what I normally do. For me, it is like I've never retired. I call them and then they say, oh, Kasigye has called us. What is the problem? Because if you don't listen to what I'm saying, I'm going to write it somewhere. I have talked to so and so, he doesn't, and you know what will happen to you. Okay? Yeah. Then, so you are right, we should be able, the car owners and the motorcycle owners should be cognizant of who is driving and who is riding these motorcycles. Number two, about the corruption and of course, people who are not doing what they are supposed to do. This is something that is very, very, very bad. Maybe some of you heard me because I was one police officer who was always on radio, always on TV, on these other networks, you know, internet networks, YouTube, everywhere. I was everywhere. Because that was my responsibility actually as chief political commissar. And I never minced my words about issues of corruption. I used to talk about it seriously. And I would issue orders. If a traffic officer does this and this and this, you can dismiss them. No, we need to talk tough. We need to talk tough in a country like Uganda. We need to talk tough. People need to understand that there is a price that you must pay if you become corrupt. Do you know why I'm still talking to you? Because you have not heard stories that Kasigye was corrupt. So if anybody in the police, you are going to retire and people are going to point fingers at you because you are a corrupt person, I'm telling you, you are even going to have it rough in your retirement. Okay? So people don't look at that. They think money is everything. Money can't be everything. Okay? I used to tell them whenever I'm visiting them throughout the whole country, I don't want to put in a suit and somebody points and says, this suit, I'm the one who bought it for him. I'm a very proud man. People talk, yeah. He gives you money today, tomorrow you come with a new trouser and say, carry all our sentences and I'm one day. No, I can't be that. I can't be that. So this corruption, we need to talk about it. People need even not to give money. They call me and say, afande natuta sente nezo wano police kakati nkoletia, but wazimo what day. What do you want me to do? How do you give somebody money then you come to tell me? At least come and tell me they want money. What can I do? But I've not yet given to them. Then I say chuchi indeke. So we need to Subaru drivers, authorities doing anything about this. I don't think we are doing much. We really need to sensitize, we need to arrest them, we need to detain them, we need to, because it's too much. They roll these vehicles, they make you nervous. You're driving, somebody comes and, in front of you, they have been doing it, Indiscipline. Yes, indiscipline, the kind of indiscipline. We need to be tough on them. As I have said, again, I'll discuss this with the director of traffic about this. Border, menace. I think I'm going to add like 2 or 3 questions that you have said, which all come to one. And I don't miss my words. We don't need to politicize road safety. Okay? We do not need to politicize road safety. Regulations are regulations. You don't have this, you don't have this. Don't wait for when the campaigns are starting. But it cannot work because you are killing people. So we must not politicize some of these things. It is the same thing of the government motor vehicles. Of course, somebody is talking about government motor vehicles. The kind of spiral effect they get and stopping in roundabouts and people driving wherever they are driving, that is that. Let me tell you, people think that government tells people to go and do it, or if you are you're driving a red number plate. I am on record that I drove that vehicle for all many years, and I never overtook a line in the jam. I go as the jam goes. If you want to reach office early, wake up early. People, maybe some special circumstances, your wife may be going to deliver. That can be understood. But even then, you may not reach there. We need to prepare and do things, but the emergencies. But this business of, this is a red number plate, the Minister of Transport himself said, put to shame government vehicles that are doing what? Take a picture, send it to him. For them, they will know what to do. He's our fellow Rotarian. And I don't know whether Ugandans are giving him the whatever. At one time, the Inspector General of Police and other agencies, they sent officers on roundabouts at Mlago and all these places. You come driving from the other side, they stop you, park the vehicle there. And people were ashamed. Must shame, name and shame. We put these vehicles in newspapers, everywhere. This vehicle was doing this and this and this and this. They will take it away from you. We need to be serious about this. Prime Minister needs also to come out and say you cannot wreck government vehicles and kill our people. Drive them in this kind of way. We need people to speak out. We need people in the government to speak out. We need, even in Parliament, they should talk about this so that we can reduce. Then the condition of the vehicles, the speed governance, and how we can regulate public transport, a kind of win-win situation. I want to agree with this. I want to be part of what you've said. I want to say again, we need to stop politicizing this. Speed governance, a law was passed in Parliament that every public transport vehicle, public passenger service vehicle must have speed governance. First of all, they were disabling them. Whenever they pass a police officer, they disable it. There is a way they disable it. When they know that traffic officers are somewhere, they again fix it. So you are going to check and find that the speed governor is on. Until when they started complaining, police is whatever, and we stopped. So these vehicles do not have speed governor unless the owner of the vehicle is the one who puts it there and wants his drivers to make sure that they do not overspeed. But as a regulation, I don't think police officers are enforcing it because they met a problem. These things are being politicized. I don't know why we politicize things to do with road safety. Then policy makers and policy enforcement, what are we failing? What are we failing to learn from our neighbors? I have told you, it's all about saying this must work. Ugandans, when there was Kavera, I was working in Rwanda at that time. You reach Kigali, you come from the plane, you have your Kavera, you put it in a bag. And you make sure that you have sealed. You don't, immediately you are coming back and you have Kavera somewhere, you can throw anywhere. So is that really like we are free people? Is it that we are free, that you can throw, but when you go to another country, people be careful. Why can't we be careful in our country? Yeah. For once. Yeah. So yes, so they are serious. By the way, if sometimes they can punish you in this way. You come driving, you have done something, your traffic officer stops you and says, park there. And they forget about you. And you are not going to call anyone. Gambanogo, Tariyo. There's no Gambanogo. You park there from 8, at 5, they say, sir, you can now go. Will you ever do it again? So they ask you, you said you were hurrying. Now you didn't go there. Have you died? It's about our resolve. Yes, if we say things should be done that way, that is how things should be done. But again, as Ugandans, let's also have responsibility. A traffic officer has done something, and then you add your own words. You call Kasigye, Rtn Kasigye, wano police, tamanyi nti ndi Rotarian. No. No. So, I have finished the questions, I think. But
PE Kasigye.
The rats have come back.
For handling this very pertinent topic. This is a wake-up call to all of us. It is a topic that is close to our hearts. I believe each one of us here has either been a victim or knows a victim, or has a close relative who has lost their lives or been injured in a motor vehicle accident. So again, this topic becomes very pertinent to us. He has told us that there has been an increase of 30% in road accidents. Behind these statistics is a human being. Is your sister, is a brother, is someone's wife, is someone's husband, is someone's father. So they are not just statistics. And that makes them very, very pertinent for us to take them seriously. It begins with you and I, because we are all road users. We are either motorists, pedestrians, cyclists, policymakers, or policy implementers. So each one of us has a role to play in this. Again, he has also told us that 90% of accidents can be prevented, which is good news, because each one of us, if each of us played their role, these accidents would be reverted by 90%. So let us play our role. Let us all be responsible. He's given us very good practical suggestions that we can actually have a project, as you know, for our club that promotes sensitization about road safety among schools. Again, if we are targeting youngsters, we know that at least for the next generation, there will be a difference. So thank you very much, Mr. Kasigye, again, for this very, very pertinent topic. Thank you for promising that our ideas, our discussion today will reach policymakers and policy implementers. And we want to wish you all the best in your retirement as you continue to serve us. Thank you so much.
Child growth and development that we all went through, schools, university, you know, the journey in the police, and what I did, everything that I did is here. Those that you need to know, there are others that you...
The secrets.
Yes, I'm not even allowed to say them. But, and then even the businesses I did, even the kind of giving back to society, it's a nice book. I wanted to tell a story so that somebody does not tell my story wrongly. So this one has this story. It's 50,000.